Peace and blessings, y'all. So today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020, and I just want to make a brief statement. So I'm about to get in the weights, about to work out this morning, get into work. Something that I've been thinking about for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and say it in this video, and that is right now there's so much going on. We're in the middle of COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of us are still at home. I don't say most of us. A lot of us are still stuck at home. Some people are returning to work. People are scared, literally scared for their lives because people don't want to die from contracting COVID-19. At the same time, you have people all around the country, and maybe even around the world, but definitely around the country, protesting the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And and then someone else died. A couple died yesterday, I think, at a protest. We got protests happening all over, protesting against police brutality, specifically towards black people. Now, not just against black people, but especially towards black people. That's what part of what Black Lives Matter is about. What I'm going to say is this: I really haven't wanted to say anything on Facebook or anywhere because I've got people that I know who I know are viewing this from all different ends of the spectrum. I've got good friends who are like, let's go out there and protest. I've got good friends who are, this protest shouldn't be happening. This is nonsense. I got people on various ends of the spectrum, and I know that. And I don't really want to say anything that's I don't know what to say. Be honest about it. I don't know what to say at this point. I'm not against protesting. I'm also not in favor of people who have no stake in the matter going out and arbitrarily destroying property because that's someone's livelihood. It's just not right. At the same time, the question becomes, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for us as a nation to value each individual life? Those of us who are religious folk, and I don't pump and promote religion on social media because that's a dangerous territory, and I just don't do that. But those of us who have religious views, many of us we believe in loving everyone, viewing everyone as equals, but when it comes down to it, our government, our systems, which people run, don't support that. The reality is that black people, Native American people, all kinds of people who are in poverty, all kinds of people in this country, LGBTQ people is what those people are. People in this country who may be different and who definitely are different from those, those in power are not viewed and not treated as equals. And that's the problem. That is the struggle. That's the struggle, period. That's the struggle, is for everyone to be loved and valued equally. So, my point is, I don't want to say too much of one thing without having conversations. My thing is try to have conversations with people. Not to say that's going to change the world, but that's, at this stage, one thing that I can try to do. But the other thing I want to say to you all, and I'm going to leave you with this morning, is this: play the long game. At this stage, play the long game. As a chess player, in chess, you have the opening game, which is the first, maybe 10 moves, maybe that many, maybe more. Then you have the end game, where everything concludes. But then you have the middle. And in the middle is where all the creativity and the artistry and the frustration comes out. Okay? Not all of it, but a lot of it. And where you can express yourself as a chess player. My point is this: play the long game. If you don't know what to do right now, don't do anything. I'm not saying sit back and be complacent. I'm saying take your time, because this struggle It's not. Hopefully, we make changes, but it's a long game. It's a long struggle, and it's not a game like, haha, it's funny. Take your time. Take your time until you know what to do. The reality is, the funny thing to me, that's not really funny at all, is that we have a constitutional right, supposedly, to protest, to peaceful protest. However, as soon as people gather, the police are there. I'm not anti-police. Some of my Masonic brothers, many of them I know, are police. That doesn't mean I'm pro-police or against. I'm not anti-police. I've never had a whole lot of negative experience with police, but I know plenty of people have. I know plenty of black men and black women and people of color, period, have had plenty of negative experience with police that they didn't deserve. So my point is that I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-killing somebody for no good reason. Period. And I mean, it's logic. Why? I mean, it's one of those things that in my brain, it's like, how do I even quantify this? Because it's completely inhuman. Let me just kill somebody or slowly take somebody's life for no reason. I can't even fathom it. I cannot wrap my head around that. But I'm not trying to avoid the topic. I'm not trying to say don't deal with it. I'm saying that by saying play the long game, I'm saying take your time and figure out what you are going to do to bring about the world that you want your grandchildren to live in. I have a grandchild now. And as a school teacher, as a band director, I view my work, my daily work, as social activism. Period. That isn't, I'm just saying. So right now, my focus, and it just is, period, is how do I make sure that everything I do at work has, that if it has an impact, then the impact is on closing the gap, the achievement gap, closing the social injustice gap, helping my students to have opportunities, and then also, how do I have conversations with people who may not understand, who just say, I don't get it. Why? Well, this is why. And it's bigger than just this. So anyway, play the long game, y'all. If you don't know what to do right now, if your heart is not, because the reality is, people got to be scared, to just walk outside, let alone walk outside and stand up against injustice. At the same time, you have people, at least people are saying it. You got leaders in the movement saying that these people over here are not part of us. And then young people, if you're young people that are watching this, or old people, just people, but especially young people who are trying to find their voices, are still developing their voices and figuring out what to do. Listen to the elders. Not that elders have all the answers, but at least listen. What are the elders in your community saying that you should be listening to? Now, if they're spouting, hatred, you don't even be listening to that. I mean, like real hatred, like let's go and kill these black people. If they're saying that, anyway, that's what I'm gonna say this morning. I'm about to hit these weights, and do what I can to deal with some curriculum development today, which, like I said, is social activism. But anyway, y'all be safe, please. Whatever you do, take your time to make sure that you're keeping your family safe. Be organized, y'all. Please be organized and try to. If you are a praying person, pray, but also take with the action that's in your heart to take. But protect yourselves and protect other people. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, I'm not trying to promote this or that or the other. I'm just saying, take your time. And here's what else I'm gonna say. If you don't understand why this is happening, call up someone of color. Call up somebody who's brown or black or Asian or dark skin, who's been followed in stores. Call someone up who's been followed in stores just for walking in the store. who as soon as they call, they can hear these announcements over the speaker. Da 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 da. Call someone who's been pulled over unjustly by police. There's plenty of white people, young white people, also getting pulled over by police, which that baffles me. I'm like, everybody should be standing up against injustice, against bad policing. It's not all policing; it's the bad policing. And the reality is, it's bad policing, and police have guns. I mean, it makes sense why police have guns to an extent. It makes sense. But they have guns. So guess what? You have this person who, if I'm bad as a teacher, if I come in the classroom and I'm bad as a teacher, I can ruin someone's life. I seriously can. With words, with actions, I can harm someone. Now, I could attack somebody. Why would I do that? I don't know. But a bad teacher can have a profound impact on someone's life. But it's not likely that they're going to take somebody's life in that interaction. If I'm, my point is that a bad, evil person who decides they're going to be a police officer, when that happens, has the potential to take someone's life, period. And that's what we're talking about. If you don't understand the struggle, look at the history of black people and people who stood up. It's not just black people, but people who have stood up against injustice in this country. Look at Native Americans who have stood up against injustice that was done to them, period, way back when, all the way up to now. And you'll say, oh, if you really, and people say, picture yourself for a moment. No, don't picture yourself for a moment. Connect with those people. They are in your community. You know them. And get an understanding. I don't know the exact phrasing, but I like to say it as, in all thy getting, get an understanding. If you're wondering why, get an understanding. Find out. Ask. Have the conversations that may hurt you emotionally, where you might just say, oh my God, okay, I get it. If you're a small business owner and you don't want to lose your business by someone coming in and looting, we get that. But we don't want to lose our lives by walking down the street. By literally walking down the street. We do not want to lose our lives driving a car. We don't want to lose our lives by jogging in our neighborhoods. If you don't want to lose your business, that's one thing. I don't want to lose my life. I live in the suburbs. I don't want to lose my life just walking down the street. And the thing is, we find out from all of these different murders of people, we find out just how bad it could be on a regular basis. It's almost, and I'm not saying it is, but it's almost like, hey, guess what, y'all? We're going to keep y'all in check because you could die this way, you could die that way, you could die that way, you could die another way, you could die in school, you could die anywhere. I got to tell my kids, and I'm not the only not just black teachers and teachers of color have to do this. All teachers have to do it now. We have to talk to our students about, yeah, you could die in this classroom. One day it hit me. I'm in my classroom. I'm like, that person, that teacher, the next teacher who's dying, protecting their kids, or trying to save their own life could be me. We are sick as a nation. We are. And we can get in our own comfort zones. I live in the suburbs, and I'm not saying I live in the suburbs. I'm just saying I live in the suburbs. You wouldn't expect certain things. But guess what? You shouldn't expect certain things anywhere. Shouldn't expect them anywhere. And this is becoming a longer video than I expected it to be. But I love all people. I had an interaction with someone some months ago, and I posted a video up about it where he accused me of trying to steal a steak. And at the time, I had to ask myself, like, is this racist? I don't have a lot of direct racist experiences. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't. And I'm not saying racism isn't real. I'm not saying that for a second. Or I'm just oblivious and ignore it. I had, and in that conversation that I had with this person accusing, this was an older white man, no, he wasn't that old. No, he was a little older than me, maybe about 10, 15 years, maybe. He was not extremely old. I don't mean to be disrespectful by saying extremely old. There wasn't a huge age gap that I could visibly tell. But, he's sitting up there accusing me of something, which is not killing somebody. So I'm not equating this with that. saying that. And my mission that I took with that interaction was to say, no, before you apologize for falsely accusing me, we're going to have a conversation. I love all people. Please play the long game before you rush to judgment, before you rush to say this is ridiculous, this is nonsense, before you rush out there and expose yourself to a pandemic that can take your life or can take the life of your grandparents or of your grandchild. Before you do that, play the long game. I'm not saying don't do it. Don't protest. I'm not saying don't, call your friend up and say, hey man, I don't get it. Why in the world is this going on? Call someone who would know. Call someone who's been ostracized for just being who they are. If you believe in God, God put you on the planet, there you are. And then someone hates you. Somebody's accusing you of everything as soon as you come into the world. And then they kill you. And people wonder why. What's it going to take? I don't believe in violence. I'm not a violent person. But when are we going to wake up as a country, let alone the world? That's all I want to say this morning, y'all. Play the long game and work out and lift these weights. Please, please. If you are one of my friends and you say, I don't understand, call me. Say, G, Scott, Gary, whatever you call me. Kaylee. What's going on? Help me to understand. I will happily do that. Okay? Please. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say, y'all. Until next time, this isn't really bodybuilding for brass players, but, until next time, please like the video if it's something if it's helpful to do, or just watch it. Thank you for watching it, period. All right? Peace.